Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone here in judging room 2. Can we have a little bit of quiet, please? Pretty please, with sugar on top. I'm sorry to all those at home, and this is the opening of their live stream, because we had some really serious technical difficulties that range from bad 4G to Singapore servers going down to everything, and we had to go back to flipbooks and spreadsheets. So the morning's been fun. We have got probably 8% of it on video, though. The first 5 or 10 prints were missed out, but Bruce Moyle jumped in and did an awesome job. Bless you, Bruce. So let's keep thanking and clapping for some wonderful people that are happening here. Let's just thank for our wonderful overall sponsors, Epson. Congratulations, Epson, for choosing to support the AIPP. That's wonderful. Also, we have KL Australia is looking after NT in Tasmania. Thank you, KL Australia. Atkins is looking after the portrait category here in South Australia, thanks to me. I wanted to thank our backroom handlers, which actually I don't have an updated list, but I'll get one of those. And once Beck, we got Janet, Daniel. Beck, Daniel, and I can hear Kate, who's back there wrangling things. Kate Ellis, thank you very much. No, Kate's not. She's now sitting down with a high-vis vest, so we'll take her off the thank you list. No, not at all. That's wonderful. I have Peter Barnes assisting me with panel chair. I'm Paul Atkins on the panel chair. We've got George from the NT. We've got G from South Australia. We've got Robin from Victoria. We've got Simon from South Australia. I think he is, isn't he? Luke Simon. Sorry about that. And we've got Dean from Taswegia. Welcome.
Jared's out the back too.
Oh, and we have to thank Jared, who's in our back room. So we're back up going. So I'm going to read this category preamble out, which we've done for the benefit of the room and judges this morning. But for you guys online, here it comes. Portraiture photography is broadly defined and can include family portraiture, corporate, travel, creative and interpretive portraits. Entries into the portrait category will be judged broadly, based on content, impact and professional quality. The judges will be asked to consider portraiture in its broadest context. Entries into this category may be commissioned or self-commissioned. And this category is judged in 2 sections, the first of which has been judged already, that is a portrait single capture. So if you entered that or you're interested in that, you'll have to check the stream, because we're going to upload it as a YouTube video, and it won't be as nice and fun and as saucy as this one is going to be. Portrait Open is next. Portrait Open entries may utilise all post-production techniques, so including the use of multiple images or elements to produce the entry. Portrait Single Capture, however, entries must utilise may utilise all post-production techniques, excluding the addition of any new elements to the original capture. This includes borders and textures. The repetition of the same capture in either full or part is prohibited. Although the category is judged in 2 sections to assist the judges in their assessment, there is only 1 award. Are we ready, back of house? Yeah, ready. Sorry? Did you say that? Yeah, I did. All right, let's start judging. Dun-da-da. First print. Whilst the judges are checking this out, there's one more place we have to thank. We have to thank Malcolm Sheffers from Marden Senior College, who has made this whole awesome thing happen. Marden has a great facility here, and Malcolm's shepherding of photography students and the equipment he provides through scrounging methods and not just getting money and budgeting and all that kind of stuff. He does it through his cleverness is brilliant. It's a great little school. Thank you, Malcolm. Okay, the print scores 81. It's a silver award. Can I have a comment from G, please?
Look, I'm enjoying the concept, but the technique and the concept isn't like gelling together for me at the moment. I know that he's meant to be a vampire, and so he's coming out of the darkness. But he's too samey with that background for me to really go, yeah. And I'm not sure that sort of softer lighting it's coming in from the side. The highest point of contrast for me is actually his fingers on the right. So I'm having a little bit of a competition with my eyes there. Otherwise, conceptually, I'm really enjoying it. So with some refinement, I think this could be really brought up to Apple level. So please do.
Thank you, G. Next print, please. Okay, the print scores a 78. Can I please have a comment from George?
Beautiful image, nice story. I think the handling of the flowers to match her, the backlight hitting some of those flowers doesn't quite look real to me. So possibly looking at that to make the subjects blended a bit more with the background.
Thank you, George. Next print, please. Print scores 77. Can I please ask for a comment from Dean?
Sure. There we are. Hello. I think there's a bit of a concept and story and character thing going on here. There's a few little technical things that are going to let it down. I struggle a little bit to connect with the expression initially. Also, the way that the shadow intersects through her eye, the one on the left of the picture, is unsettling, I think would be a good word. And there's probably, I suppose where the image is really bright is you've got this certain level of contrast, and in other areas it feels really muddy and flat. So there's probably technical things that could be done here to improve this image.
Thank you, Dean. Next print, please. Okay, we have an 81 silver award. Luke Simon, have you got something for this photographer to help lift their score perhaps next time? Sorry, we're training wheels are on.
Beautiful. Thank you, Peter. I'd just like to see a little bit more light on the subject, in a way. Yeah, that's the main thing for me.
Lovely. Thank you. Next print, please. So the print scores 80, a silver award. Dean, did you have anything you'd like to say to encourage the author?
Sure, I had it just under there. It obviously got a silver award, which is fantastic, and I think the opportunity to relook and make a couple of improvements is definitely there. I think the way that this has been, the composition I really like. I like it's kind of quirky. For me, the expression in the person on the left is really strong and really quirky, and the contrast in the lighting on that image is on that part of the print is great, but that sort of falls flat with the rest of them. I think the inconsistency in what looks like the way that their faces are lit was something that held me back. Whether that's something you can approach through. Yeah, good luck. Thank you. It was really good day. I liked it.
Thank you, Dean. Next print, please. For those on the live stream who noticed the nothing happening this morning thing, that's actually pushed us back by 3 hours, and we've chosen to move nature and family till tomorrow afternoon, which we were planning to finish around lunchtime. So nature and family is going to be moved to tomorrow afternoon rather than this afternoon. Apologies, but we can blame nobody, as is often the case. All right, this print scores 77. Can I please ask for a comment from Robin?
Yeah, I really love the subject matter in terms of the makeup and the hair. Really, really interesting. Need to watch the posing. We've got this right hand coming through underneath, and it's really distracting when you get in there. Even a slight crop and a bit of vignetting just to bring you right into where I think is the point of focus, and that is the intensity in her eye. So good old-fashioned dodging and burning will take this to a whole different level.
Thank you, Robin. Next print, please. Just wanted to thank category sponsors KL Australia and Atkins, and I also wanted to mention that out of all these categories will come the CCP's, that's the Adelaide Centre for Creative Photographer Emerging Photographer of the Year award. So anyone entering this category as an emerging member may get that, and Kodak for the Student Photographer of the Year, who could also come out of this category. So thank you, Kodak and Centre for Creative Photography. Okay, so we have a print score average of 77. We do have a challenge. I'm going to accept that challenge from Robin Campbell.
Yeah, I found this really, really intriguing. Okay, so when you get up there, yes, the girl's face is not sharp. It's blurry as all heck, but I think that is entirely intentional. There's a story, and it's all about the bird, and it's almost as if the girl is morphing into the personality of the bird. In a way, the way my brain's processing it, it's almost as if she's a background element. She's a piece of the wallpaper, and the portrait is really about this bird. It's a really interesting construct, and it's something that puts you right out there on that sort of quirky perspective, the enlarged eyes to match the bird. I'm rewarding its creativity as well as the lovely colour palette that's going in there as well. It's more complex than I think we're giving it credit for, and I'd love some more conversation.
Okay, I think we need to hear from Dean because he's at the other end of the scale.
I knew you would. I really wanted to hear more about this as well because I just saw a story that I didn't get. To be apologetic, I can do that, but I couldn't. I really struggled so much to look past the technical, obviously the face not being sharp thing. I don't know why it's not. I get that. What we shouldn't assume. I understand that there's a big story with a portion of the bird. I pictured it like a dogs that look like their owners kind of thing. You know, this beautiful dove-eyed, beautiful girl who's taking on some form of the bird. Yeah, I get that, but I just really, really struggled. I'm really open to this. I'm listening because I totally believe and understand there's a concept there that I was struggling. Look, the print's beautiful as well. I think there's a great tonality about the whole print and all that quality is definitely there. I was just a little bit stuck. So definitely listening and open to more discussion.
Let's hear from Luke.
Yeah, I put this in the silver range because I was quietly hoping that it would get into the silver range, or at least so that we could have this discussion about it. I would encourage the author to continue with this concept. I think it's a great little concept. I think there's definitely some ways that it can be improved in terms of the positioning of the bird, even away from that hair, would really separate it from that background and make that more of the subject. So I'm close in with Robin there, so I'm interested to hear what other people have got to say as well, though.
I think we should probably head to Robin for her right of reply on this.
Yeah, I am asking you to stretch a little bit here because it's not within what you would normally see as general portraiture. It is taken it to that subliminal quality. The texture through her outfit, it's almost like it's a bird's nest and she's carrying the bird. She's a secondary element within the image. I do believe it is that higher level of thinking and that superior craftsmanship and concept that we're looking for in awards. And the fact that that follows through with the print quality, the lighting, the tonal range and so forth. Yes, it stretches you conceptually, and that's what I love about it. Silver Award.
Thank you. Now let's do a rescore, but Robin will hold your score. You've lifted it to a 79. Very close. Good try, though. Thank you so much. Before we change prints, Dean, can I swap you out for Kate Ellis? Thank you. And let's have our next print, please. We should thank our interstate judges whilst they're thinking away. George Fragopoulos from the Northern Territory. We've got Robin Campbell from Victoria. And off the panel at the moment is Dean Mansbridge from Tasmania. Thank you so much, you three, for being part of this. The print scores an 80 and it's a silver award. Robin, do you have anything you'd like to add for this photographer?
Sure. I think the styling of the girls is really interesting, and the hand holding and so forth, so they almost look like twins. Once again, find it very, very flat. It needs a bit more contrast, a little bit more interest, a little bit more work within the lighting to bring them out from the background as well. And being in a category where you can change things, the background line doesn't need to be there. So we can remove that through their ankles. It'll probably help as well.
Thank you, Robin. Next print, please. Right, the print score's 75. G, would you like to make a comment for the photographer?
You know, this is actually a really pretty shot. However, we're very dense on our blacks. There's a lot of red coming out of the cheek that just sort of punches you in the face when it sort of turns around. Our focus isn't quite hitting the eyes. So I'd love to see that focus come up. Her expression is beautiful and her gesture is beautiful. Just work on some of that post-production, bringing it back together.
Thank you, G. Luke, would you like to step out for Simon Bills, the other Simon? And can we have our next print, please? This print scores a silver on 81. George, can you offer a comment, please?
I think great image. Love the black and white focus on subject's face and the tattoos. Possibly adding a backlight to separate the subject from the background to give you a bit more of a higher score for APPers. Maybe adding another element to the story of who he is rather than just flexing that muscle.
Thank you, George. It's great. Kate, can I ask you to swap out for Dean, please? Thank you. And we'll have our next print, please. Unless, of course, Dean knows this person. Okay, we have a 79 on this print. I would like to hear from Simon Bills, please. Simon, because you were right there.
Yeah. When the picture turned around, it certainly got a great impact. I just had a little bit of trouble following the story of it. It almost looks like the glass of milk's being tipped over and the baby's crying, and so mum's trying to pacify baby with her finger, but she presumably wouldn't have fed her out of the cup anyway, so I'm not sure if I've missed something with the story. Yeah, so that was probably like why I didn't bring it up to the award level. It was not clear enough what the actual story was about.
Thank you, Simon. Before we go to the next print, George, can I swap you out, please, for David Hattie? And can we have our next print, please? Oh, pardon me. No worries. That's my finger.
Thanks.
Okay, well, the print scores are 78. Can I please ask Robin to make a comment?
Yeah, I love all the effort that the photographer's gone to with the styling and the hair and the makeup. There's so much going on there. But then we've got this background that's sort of just some clouds and some sky, and I sort of see this mythical sci-fi character. I would have loved to have seen them in a more mythical sci-fi background. Then I think the concept would have carried through entirely, and yeah, I'd be there with the silver. So use that same one, strip in a different background, and take us to a fantasy world. Bring it on.
Thank you, Robin. Good job. Next print, please. Just let the viewers know that because of the delays this morning, nature and family will be pushed over to tomorrow afternoon. They were due to be judged this afternoon, which we won't get to. We have a silver on 83. G, do you want to make a comment on this one, please?
Yeah, look, I thoroughly enjoyed the commentary on this one in terms of we've got the story of two cultures. We've got the eye meeting in the middle for what we can see in the middle, and then the two seeing something on the outside. What I struggled with was just the black on the left figure. I just want to see some more detail in the hair. On the right figure, we're getting perfect. She's brilliant, and then we're coming over here going, oh, and falling off. So please, I beg this entrant, go there, bring that up a little bit in the hair, and I would just be losing my mind over this.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next print, please. The print scores are 73. Dean, can I ask you to make a comment, please?
Interesting concept. I think there's a lot of issues with skin tones are really quite distracting here. The way that the light is falls off so much down to the bottom into this muddy skin tones. When I said interesting concept, there might be a story here that's not obvious enough for me to be able to give it extra award points for. So that's probably all I can say.
Thanks, Dean. Next print, please. Okay, so the print scores are 71. Can I please ask David Hattie for you to make a comment for the photographer?
Sure. You can see that there's a lot of expression in this young person, but where the image could be improved is we'll start with lighting, just to give a little bit more contrast, some sharpness on the foreground, the skin that is very shallow focus just on her eye. And then we have the contrast of a very sharp eye to everything else that's soft. So the nose just cutting through the left-hand side, either in or out. It's kind of neither. So hopefully those sorts of things can be attended to just to raise up this idea and play with it some more.
Thank you, David. Next print, please. Okay, we've got a 78 for this photographer, but I'd like to ask Simon Bills, do you have anything to say for this?
Yeah, I found the background actually a bit distracting. it had kind of texture to it, but the texture was out of focus, and it possibly didn't print all that well. And that kind of drew my attention away from the cute little dog in the middle.
Thank you, Simon. Dean, can I swap you out, please, for George? And we'll have our next print, please. Updating the judges. That print scores a silver on 82. Congratulations. Very consistent judging. G, would you like to make a comment towards this print?
Yeah, look, I actually very seriously enjoy this. Where it struggles for me is just we've got a shadow behind her head and neck there, which theoretically would in some way carry down a little bit into the dress. And at the moment, her dress doesn't have and her body doesn't particularly have a shadow. So, and the background has it goes to sort of infinity almost. So I would love to actually see that shadow brought back in, because that's what makes it around her face for me. So don't be afraid of that shadow in the background.
Excellent comment. Thank you so much, G. Can we have our next print, please? All right, we've got a silver on 80. Congratulations. George, do you have a comment for the photographer?
Yeah, beautiful image. Love the dog. The lighting is interesting. It's soft. Looking straight at the lens, which is difficult. And yeah, symmetry is beautiful. I guess the background was a bit distracting for me. It wasn't clean. Maybe a bit more contrast on the dog's face, and cleaning up the background may push it further up.
Thank you, George. Can we have our next print, please? Okay, the print score's 73. David, can I ask for a comment from you?
Interesting concept being the reverse colour. The main focus is on the cage, and the person inside it seems to be soft, and also because of the lightness of the face in the original, obviously as a negative it's darker, and we're being taken away from what presumably would be the subject down to the sort of the lighter areas. So those sorts of things could be attended to, and perhaps reverse think the lighting and then do it again. So in negative form, the blacks will become lighter and you get back to the face.
Excellent comment. Thank you, David. Before we go to our next print, Robin, can I swap you up for Dean? He looks way too comfortable. And next print, please. This print score is 79. Can I please ask for a comment from Dean on this one?
This was a real fence sitter, so for me, I think there's a lot of character in this subject's face, which is really cool. When it first came around, there's a beautiful palette that you sort of see straight away. There's a couple of little distracting background things, right? The band at the top's fine, but in the left-hand side, there's something coming in from one side, and then it's not there on the right. In the bottom right-hand corner, similar going the other way. I just wonder if these things were just taken away, because we can in this category, just to simplify the image. The other thing that I wish was different about it was that there was sharpness and more detail in the hands. You see a lot of that in the face, but it's really shallow depth of field, so your hands are out of focus, which I think for someone who looks like a craftsman and has been working with these hands for a long time, it's a bit of a shame, so that maybe it fell short in those areas.
Thank you, Dean. Can we have our next print, please? Okay, by majority, this print scores a 79. Can I please ask for a comment from, let's go with Dean on this one, please.
Thank you, Paul. I was really just a bit let down by this sounds silly, but just the shape of the catchlight in the eye of this particular subject is really sharp and jarring, and we've got this what is a really cool texture in the rope and everything like that, but there's all the curves. I'm just seeing all these curves and this conflict in the shape of the catchlight. When you look up close, we're looking at a portrait, we're looking straight at those eyes. I just found that really jarring. It just didn't fit. So perhaps looking at a different lighting option, like in terms of capturing the detail in the subject matter, the lighting was appropriate, but maybe it could have been done better. Maybe we on a different background other than harsh black might have been a little bit nicer as well for feedback.
Thanks,
I hope that's helpful.
That's all right. David, you've asked to make a quick comment on this.
Yes, I scored at 83. I saw the exact opposite, actually. I saw the catchlight. I thought, fantastic, it's not round. I saw the wrapping up of the ropes, the texture, everything else is sort of like someone bound, and almost that square softbox reflection was almost like behind bars, that squareness, that sort of thing. So you've got that feeling of being caged up and yet you're sort of wrapped up. What would improve it, I think, would be that more dramatic lighting. So at the moment it's filled in a lot on the left, even though the light's coming from the right. Perhaps just drop that reflector back halfway. So take half a whole stop out, and you've got even more dramatic picture.
Great comment, David. Okay, before we go to our next print, G, can I swap you out for Luke?
Cool.
Thank you. And next print, please. Just for those at home, I'd like to explain that majority score that was mentioned. So if out of the 5 panellists, 3 of them are within a score zone, for example, 3 in the 70s, 3 in the 80s, 3 in the 90s, then it by majority pulls it into that score range. So even if it is a silver award, say it's in the 80s, and by majority it's a 79, it's because 3 of the judges thought that way. So that's the majority rule. 3 of the 5 judges is why it's majority. So this print averages 76. I'd like to take a comment from David Haddy on this one.
Sure. It's humorous, and as far as storytelling goes, I think is from an image to pull it up further, we don't really need the sky above. The character is quite lost on the road, and the print itself is quite flat. So to attend to those sorts of things will bring it up quite a lot. You could probably get rid of a quarter from the left-hand side, and also a little bit more. A little bit more character in the subject's face by having some conversation with the talent, just to get that sort of character coming through.
Quickly, Dean.
Just very quickly, if he was writing from left to right, he'd be going in towards the light. So that would give us a bit more contrast and hopefully fill in some of that flatness that talked about.
See, it was worth listening to. Thank you. Next print, please. Dean, would you like to pop out? And Kate, I'd like you to pop in, please. No? You can't do that? We don't have anyone else. Dean, how do you feel about that? All right, cool. Can I ask someone to run and grab another judge? We should have another backup sitting here. Thank you, Xander. Well, the print by majority gives us an 84, so we're really in the silver range. Congratulations. However, there's a judge that's a little higher than that. Is that Judge Instant challenging?
Yes.
Absolutely. We'll accept the challenge from Simon Bills.
The criteria for a gold award image is outstanding visual communication, check. Interpretation, emotional impact, huge check there, and technique is fine. Just the difference in the model's facial expressions from one photo to the next. That just says it all to me, I think. I'd love to hear what others have to think.
George, would you like to make a comment?
beautiful portrait, very moving. It's one of those images that is difficult to comment on because of the emotional context. It shows a journey, and the expressions of the woman's face of optimism to awareness of what's happening, grief, a bit of cheekiness in the third image. Beautiful image. I think that third image adds to the story. Maybe there's another image from that shoot to add. That's the only comment I could add.
Thanks, George. David, please.
Sure. I think I will. I scored at 84, so I was on the borderline of silver with distinction, and I was really umming and ahhing. That classification is superior visual communication, imagination, craft and skill is our guideline, and this is an extremely strong storytelling. The poignant absence in the fourth square is perfect, and brings home the story very nicely. From the professional skill, photography-wise, in every single frame, that's the only thing that was just keeping me on that little borderline. Looking at them as individual portraits, as a technical side of things, there's the extra lighting on the tummy area and that sort of thing. So from a portrait point of view, trying to take away the story for a second, those sorts of areas could just be attended to maybe in printing and bringing up faces just to bring up that little bit more. We're looking at print awards. From the storytelling side of things, I think it's wonderful and tragic, wonderful at the same time, but it's a really important story to tell, and it's an excellent way of portraying that to get this type of message through. So, thank you.
I think we'll just take a real quick comment from Luke. Is that what I'm getting eyes from you for?
Yeah, I was just along similar veins to David's comments there. I think it's obviously an extremely emotional story and it's beautifully told, but to individually judge each of those images, because when you're putting things together like this, they need to hold together so well, I think, to tell that narrative. They all do tell a wonderful story, but when it comes to some of those photographic techniques and the lighting, I think that's just where it's been held back a bit, which is why I kept it in the solid silver range.
Cool. Now, Simon, you're right of repliers now, and you've given us a challenge wanting to go for gold. So let's hear from you as a final.
Yep. I think it's such a simple image. It's 3 simple images. There's no trickery. There's no magic to it, but it has been beautifully executed, and just the thoughtfulness that has been put into this and the emotional impact that it has on us as viewers of photography. I really think we need to award the author of this with a gold. Come up as high as you can.
Lovely.
It's worth it.
Thank you so much. Can we all rescore except for Simon, who's got to hold his score? We're on an 87. Congratulations. Silver distinction. Nicely handled. Okay, so can I please swap out... I'm going to take Simon Bills out, and I'm going to put Kate Ellis in. And we're going to take our next print, please. Oh, thanks. This print scores 75. Can I ask for a quick comment from David Hattie?
Yes, I put it in. It's right in the middle of professional practice, so well done to the author. For looking at improving the print on the outsides of this child's arms, you can see a double image, which means that the combination of flash and available light wasn't quite right. So look out. You can always clone those things out if you're going to put something into an awards, and just give us a little bit more impact. Maybe bring the face out a little bit more would help to bring it out of the print.
Thank you, David. Dean, can I swap you up for G, please? Are you okay, G, for a go? Sweet. And can we have a next print, please? Kate. Simon, are you okay to step in for Kate Ellis? Thanks. Okay, print scores 77. George, can I ask for a comment from you, please?
Yeah, beautiful connection between mother and baby. The lighting for me was distracting. It wasn't natural to match the natural relationship of the mum and child. Also, look at cropping. Maybe the darkness around the subject doesn't need to be there. Cropping in closer could help.
Lovely, thank you. I'll just do a quick judge turns. I'd love to bring Robin back in, if that's okay, please. Is any other judges wishing to step off for a sec whilst we put Robin in? George? Okay, thank you. Can we have our next print, please? Sorry? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, all that bloody Simons and Luke's. Oh, see, everyone done it there. Yeah, can you just hold one sec? Sorry, I've gotten myself caught. Go for it. Still got them all wrong. Look. The print scores are silver on 80. David, do you want to throw a comment for the photographer, please?
It's a beautiful little image and it's lovely, delicate lighting. I found there's a little bit over sharpening on the edges of the face. You can see an edge line, which could be just brought back. It brings out the face, just sort of separates it from the body, sort of slightly surreally. But otherwise, just a very nice professional image.
Thank you, David. Next print, please. Oh, I'm going to change that, yeah. Everyone's crackers. Okay, the print scores are 76. Can I please ask Robin for a comment, please?
Yeah, there's a lovely concept going on here with the snake coming through the image and so forth. Would love to see some delicacy in the lighting. We've just got this sort of slap lighting on her back, and all you're really looking at is her right-hand shoulder. But there's a beautiful snake with some beautiful snake skins. So smaller point source lighting and some highlights in there showing us the main features would go a really long way.
Lovely. Can I please, whilst we're doing changey things, can I get Luke Simon out for put Dean back in? Can we have our next print, please? Big thank you to Epson for the sponsorship of the 2018 AIPP Professional Photography Awards here in South Australia. And thanks to KL Australia for looking after Northern Territory and Tasmania, and Atkins for looking after the portrait category here in SA. And of course, the Centre for Creative Photography for the Emerging Photographer of the Year, and Kodak for the Student Photographer of the Year. Thank you very much. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. This print scores 78. David Hattie, would you like to make a comment?
Sure. Thanks for asking.
I can see that microphone raised.
I think the photographer should be commended for the lovely feeling that they were able to get with their subjects, because it's a gorgeous little portrait. Now, to raise it further, I would suggest with the lighting from the left-hand side at the moment, there's a strong lighting over this woman's shoulder, which draws your attention that way. The general subject matter is, although she's very central, visually she seems like she's a little bit on the right, so with that highlight. So turn that down, bring the face up. On the background, there's texture, but there's a little bit coming out. There's a little snaky line at the back of her head. Those sorts of things, those little things can be attended to, and also deeper at the bottom. And suddenly you're brought back up to the face with a little bit more detail on the shadow area, so it's not just so blocked up in the baby. And you've basically got the same image reworked, and you might have something there.
Thank you, David. Next print, please. Alrighty, we're on a silver. Congratulations. So with a score of 82, G, can I ask for a comment from you, please?
Okay, cool. So I'm actually really into this image. The struggles that I had were her face is divine, but there is just some kind of banding happening to the left of her face. There's a little circle of, pull of that. And it's only slight, but it's enough to pull us over because the background is so matte. And then her hip is the highest point of contrast in this image, and in terms of the tones and everything like that, it's just not carried through. So come down and work on that. It's almost like a little circle in her hip that just needs a bit of love, and then we're gonna soar. Like, please.
Great comment. Thank you. Next print, please. Okay, print scores 76. Can I please get a comment from Dean on this?
It's really kind of a cool moment. I think really when it comes down to that capturing a moment, I think that's there. The little girl in the middle is really in the moment as well. I think a perspective change might have really added to this. If we were down at their level a little bit more, we might have been able to engage with them a little bit. There's a lot of judges holding hands in front of left-hand sides of the print, perhaps looking at a different cropping option like that might be good. I'm a fan of the presentation. It gives it this vintagey kind of feel. Others won't be. Commendations go to capturing a great moment, but that is comfortably within professional practice.
Thank you, Dean. David, can I swap you out for George, please? And can we have our next print, please? Hang on one sec, sorry, just updating. All right, so the print scores are 73. Robin, do you have something for the author?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to portraiture, it's really, really important to think about how you're going to tell a person's story. So the perspective on this, it's looking down on her forehead, and she has quite a large forehead, so a lower camera angle probably would have been more complementary. The lighting's incredibly flat, needs some background, just a pop, just to bring her out, and also depth of field. Intensify the depth of field so that the background is more out of focus and you can come back to the little child.
Thank you, Robin. Next print, please. All right, this print scores a 79. Can I please ask Dean if you could make a comment? G? Yep, go for it, G.
No, look, this is generally my jam, and it is. I mean, I look at it and I love it. However, what's really taking me out is we've got that light smashing bang into that forehead, and it's a very different green to the rest of the green. So we've got this lime, heavy lime, and then we come back into olive. So find a way to rectify that. There's a lot of styling going into this, so maybe styling something on that forehead. And also, we've got this geometric background, and the hair's coming up into a point. And so the geometric background sitting definitely in that center. Everything's nice and central. And then we've got that hair that's just a little bit to the right, and it is making us feel a bit like, oh, so just move your model over just a tiny bit, get your lighting right, and we will have a completely different image.
Thanks, G. And can I just remind judges, we've still got a bit to go, so when you're going up, having a look at the print, be quick with it. No comment on the comments, they're good and solid, but just keep the pressure on. So can we have our next print, please? I'll make you do jumping jacks if you're... This print scores a 75. Well, I'd like to ask George if you could make a quick comment, because you're on the score.
Yes, solid professional standard. Things that could improve this image is look at the lighting, maybe get there a little bit earlier so you've got more directional light hitting the subject, hitting her face, rather than that time of day. And yeah, be careful of the background as well, as that can be distracting.
Thank you, George. Can we have our next print, please? Okay, the print scores 79. We have someone who's sitting in the range of the challenge land. Is that Simon Bills? Yes. Would you like to take that? We'll accept it.
I think this has got to come up from 79. It's a as soon as it turned around, it was like a slap in the face. Just like I wanted to get up. I wanted to see more. It's almost a throwback to someone from the 70s or something. She's got that look about her and that kind of pose. She's got the tattoo or the writing down on her leg, which is something about we should leave here and move to the forest. And I just think that her expression is just so consistent with the message that's kind of written on her leg. And I think it has been captured absolutely beautifully. It's absolutely worth a silver at a minimum, if not silver distinction. Thank you.
G, can I ask you to comment, please?
You know what, Simon? I'm with you on the concept, right? I'm really enjoying her tattoo is what I enjoyed, her general pose and facial expression. What I really struggle with, I did read the tattoo because it's definitely there. The author is telling, or the photographer is telling us to go there. But if she was looking out a window to a forest, if she was looking at somebody she's going to the forest with, that would hammer home the concept for me. And at the moment, we're just selling it short by having her in the studio. And so I just wanted to see the concept come further.
Robin.
Yeah, I'm in the silver range. I'm on 82. There's an incredible tension within this image, and it's really hard to put your finger on exactly what's causing it. The legs themselves, where the muscles are tense, there is a real tension there, like she's ready to run out the door, and her facial expression is definitely looking away. I don't want to be here. And the classical portraiture that they've done here is perfectly handled. 1950s, absolutely. The Chanel fabric, all that sort of thing. Really clever concept in terms of you do have that tattoo, and I think it's been worked through really, really nicely. Tonal range, those black and whites are gorgeous. So yeah, silver.
Okay, Simon, your reply, please.
Yep, back up everything Robin said. It is certainly a cut above just high professional practice. This is certainly silver range for all reasons previously mentioned.
Okay, Simon, holding you at 85. Everyone else, please rescore. And yay to the silver makers on 82. Congratulations. And next print, please. Is there someone calling out? Yeah, I'm going to step off. Step off away. Kate, are you comfortable with that? Yeah, sure. Cool. We have a 78. I'd like to get a comment from Robin Campbell, please.
Yeah, I enjoy the colours and the starkness of the red and the white and so forth. But there's an attempted mystery there, but I just don't think it's carried through. She's sort of looking at something and trying to be intrigued, but for some reason the concept and the story doesn't quite follow through. So yeah, we need more in order to bring it to that silver level conceptually.
Lovely, thank you. I would like to pull Luke in to swap her out for Kate. And can we have our next print, please? The print scores are 79. Can I get a comment from George on this?
Yeah, beautiful shot. I was almost there into the silver range. I scored a 79. I think from far away, as I went close, I wanted to be drawn further into the image. There was a bit of extra light on the monkey's face and handling of the treatment and post-production may have brought it up.
Thank you, George. Next print, please. The print scores 79. Robin, do you have a comment for the photographer?
Yeah, it's interesting in that you're sort of figuring out where all the hands are coming from. You've got the two that I think are naturally there, and then the third one that's been brought around the back of his head. Tone down the lighting, give us some mystery and intrigue that comes with that interesting concept. At the moment, your eye bounces all around, goes down his back, and then comes back, and it's very, very confusing as a visual image. Tone it right down so we've got a bit of vignetting and we can focus right in on his emotion, which is actually quite strong, and I think you've got a better shot.
Lovely. Now, Dean, I'm going to swap you out for Sam, who's our judge from the other room. Sam Roberts? Yeah, well, that's a technical term. Can we have our next print, please? All right, we've got a silver on 80. Yeah, Simon Bills, do you want to just say a quick word for the photographer?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the image. I gave it a 78. I felt it was a lovely image of a man holding a teddy bear. I didn't quite get the story of it, if there is one, but I thought it was a beautifully executed image, and I guess there was a little bit more of a story to it that perhaps the other judges read that I didn't.
Real quick, Luco.
Sorry, really quickly. I'd just love to see those fingers printed down a little bit more. They're just dominating a little bit, and I think he's suffering from Alzheimer's, going by the little badge that he's wearing as well. So yeah,
Nicely seen. Nicely seen. Thank you. And our next print, please. Okay, we've got a silver award on 81. Can I get a comment from Sam? How do you feel like making a comment, Sam?
I'm more than comfortable, Paul. You know that. Shooting dark objects on black, I could do it all day, every day. But I always love to have a bit of separation between the elements, and I think the plumage of that bird would respond well to some side lighting. So I think a bit more separation in the lighting could really make that bird pop against the dark background, especially against the wing area.
Thank you, Sam. And can we have our next print, please? Just for the benefit of the audience, we often pick on a lower scoring judge, not to be mean to them, but to perhaps give there's a reason why they scored, and I think it's really beneficial to the entrant to hear that, because we're talking about lifting the work up and not celebrating it. I mean, it's a great score, but not celebrating the score so much, but encouraging what else can be done. Wow, we have another silver in 81. Congratulations. Can I ask for George to make a comment on this, please?
Yeah, congratulations on the artist. The hair that's quite dark hitting the surface of the water, I presume, is a bit distracting for myself. Maybe there's something that can be done to tone that down. Maybe bring the hair away so the colour tone is similar to the face. Yeah.
Thank you, George. Can we have a next print, please? Yep. Dean, can I get you to pop in the place for George? The print scores a 78. I'd like to get a quick comment from Dean on this one, please.
I think I would have liked a little bit more space and room for her to breathe. I think there's a message here. I'm not 100% on board with what it is. It would have also been nice to be sharp front to back, I think, here, given the assumed capabilities to be able to have full control. You may not have needed to shoot so shallow. There's a lot of texture and detail asking to be loved in the forearm that's in the foreground. She's perfectly sharp on her face and everything. I'm a big fan of connection with eyes, but it's not lacking here because of the fact that there isn't any. But just really a little bit more space. It's just cropped a bit too tight for my liking.
Thank you, Dean. Can we just have a blank screen up on the screen? That's the end of portrait. Super terrific judging, guys. We are, of course, way behind. However, we do need to reset a few things and swap over the next. So if you can be the quickest, because our next category is wedding. So if you can be the quickest you possibly can be in whatever you need to do. Thank you, everybody. The judges required are Dean, George, Paul, Kate, David, Luke, and Simon Casson. Another bloomin' Simon. Yeah, he's probably enjoying commercial. Accept the next. Yes, apologies. I think so. No,
Turning off the live stream.
yes, so you're going to stop that? Sorry?
Yeah, I can get the
Yep, so I can set up the next one. Yeah, I'll do that for you.
I have to turn everything off.
Oh, okay, let me come over and do that. Thank you, and you need to go over the other room, Peter.
There's several.
So what's done,
So that's one of the options that I had when I went